Thanks to the army patrol you hitched a ride from, you arrive at King's Cross Station. What do you do?
Plue. I clamber up the stairs because taking point and approaching unfamiliar territory with caution does not register with me. I go straight to the ticket booth in hopes of finding valuables to loot. I make a commotion over a 5-pence piece we find. Iris. Game Master, is there currency in this post-apocalyptic setting?
No. In a post-apocalyptic setting, bartering is more common, so in theory that coin is worthless.
Iris. Game Master, you are being unfair. You just want to make our looting fruitless.
Why are you looting during an investigative mission for a military organization?
Plue. I go look for things to loot on the train and leave the 72-year-old woman completely undefended.
The first 2 freight cars have nothing of interest. In the 3rd car you notice your own shadow despite the lighting making it impossible for you to cast a shadow. This is highly curious.
Plue. Game Master, I do not know what you are talking about. I am going to completely disregard your attempts to warn the party about imminent danger. Instead, I will go outside and kick the wheels of the train.
You kick the wheels of the train. It does not budge. Why did you do this?
Game Master, do you not know anything? I am testing the integrity of the train with my kick, just like I would kick the tires of a car.
That has nothing to do with anything. Anyways, you kick the train. Your foot hurts.
Game Master, that is not true. I am wearing boots, my foot is fine. I keep kicking because I want to see if the rust on the train flakes off.
You said nothing about rust. You must be specific in narrative games. Also, I do not think you know anything about the physical properties of rust.
I keep exploring the train.
You make it to the engine room and find a letter. Thanks to the completely useless time sink involving the kicking of train wheels, the 72-year-old woman finally catches up. You examine the letter and it is covered in strange symbols you have never seen before. They seem to be runes.
Iris. Game Master, you do not know what you are talking about. These are pictograms, not runes.
There is no conceivable difference between pictograms and runes.
Obviously you do not know how important pictograms are compared to runes.
You see that the letter is addressed to Adrian Ivanov.
Iris. Since this letter is addressed to someone else, it would be wrong to open this letter. Plue. I manhandle the 72-year-old woman with my brute force character and open it anyway. Scott. I enter the scene and point my gun at the characters and tell them to put their hands up. Plue. I recognize him and unabashingly ruin all tension by welcoming him as a comrade. I ask him what happened to the rest of his team and decide to investigate by releasing my mutated rats to go scout.
Since you failed to specify to your rats about what you want them to scout, they run around aimlessly.
I order them to return.
One returns safely, but you get no response from the other. You do, however, see movement, though you are not sure what it is. I will now play grim background music to emphasize that you may be in danger.
I reach out my hand under the trains in hope that my rat returns.
Since you completely failed to grasp the ominous situation you are in despite the background music, I will flat out tell you that your character feels a chill run down his spine as shadow figures begin to form around you.
Game Master, I do not see how I am in trouble, but since the other players are urging me to run, I will flee the scene.
You begin to flee, but the 72-year-old woman starts to lag behind due to her poor physical condition.
Iris. Game Master, you were totally out of line for actually enforcing the disadvantages I wrote into my character.
You were very specific about the physical limitations of your character when you made her.
Plue. I will pick up the old woman and carry her to safety.
You successfully make it to London and see your superior officer waiting for you.
Plue. I run up to my superior officer surrounded by soldiers and physically assault him while ranting about classified information in front of everyone.
The soldiers stare you down with their rifles all pointed at you. Attacking your superior officer during martial law is a dangerous thing to do. The officer composes himself and warns that the next time you do something like that they will execute you. You are brought back to HQ where you are asked by your officer to tell him what happened.
Game Master, that is a stupid question. You already know what happened because we just played it out.
This is a role-playing game. Curiously, that sometimes means you have to role-play. Now tell your superior officer what happened.
Fine, we tell him what happened.
He asks you to hand over the letter you found as it contains classified information about twisted technology.
Plue. No. He can't have it. I found it. It's mine.
He will be handing it to a well-known scientist, and I do not think you are in any position to question your officer further. He will assign you to a dangerous new mission that involves going into the countryside which all the large military organizations have abandoned due to the extreme danger involved.
Iris. Since this mission involves my hometown, I readily accept it in hopes that I can help the people there.
Actually, it is unlikely your superiors will bother listening to any of your pleas, and furthermore I must remind you of the extraordinary danger behind this. You will require provisions and transportation to even attempt this mission.
We will go to the local crime lord and hope that he is a reasonable man.
So, you've entered the lair of the local black market mafia ringleader, Vlad Romanov. Somehow you avoided being shot on sight, seeing as you were armed and wearing military gear. You've been led into a room to have a talk with him, but your weapons have been relinquished by his security guards. You were escorted into his office. What do?
I take a seat and demand a car.
Finding a car in the post-apocalyptic world of London may be very expensive. What do you offer Vlad in exchange for this terribly rare commodity?
9 packets of cigarettes.
Please try again. Vlad laughs off your offer and says that ration tickets, the only way to get food from the government, would be a better item to trade.
I lay all of my cards on the table and tell Vlad that I have 600 tickets, which is enough to feed 10 people for a month.
Vlad smiles. Setting the terms of the negotiation, he quietly asks for 400 ration tickets, the return of the car and a little favor just to help old Vlad out.
No way, Game Master. This is completely unfair. I will now insinuate using violence against the crime boss. I tell him that not only can we go somewhere else to make this deal, but we are in the service of a military organization.
You quickly remember that Vlad has already taken all of your weapons, has set the terms of the negotiation, and doesn't appear that he's willing to let you leave now. Great job, team.
Game Master, you have a god complex and you are completely unfair.
Since you have put yourself in such a bad position, I will now outline the little favor Vlad wants of you. He wants you to use your military clearance to do some smuggling for him. He will send an associate named Timmy to make sure you know where to go. Remember, you must also return the car and Timmy back safely when you are done your business. You cannot refuse this deal.
Fine, Game Master, we escort Timmy through the checkpoints.
You run out of fuel at the last checkpoint, an abandoned gas station. Timmy tells you that he will go refuel your car once he finishes unloading the goods. Timmy goes into the building and does not return.
Once again we will leave the old woman all alone to investigate the building.
You will find Timmy and others having a gay old time, as the stuff you smuggled was booze. Timmy invites you over to have a drink with him.
We demand that Timmy fuel our car and stop fucking around.
Timmy says you guys are no fun, and before he can get around to fueling your car, the police rush in. It's a raid.
Plue. I quickly slam down Timmy and say he's under arrest and take his keys.
The cops approach you and ask what you are doing.
I flash my papers and say I am with a special military organization and tell them to let me go.
The cops look at you and say that they will take the criminals into custody.
Game Master, what is wrong with you? Why isn't repeatedly saying I am with the SSG not acting as a get-out-of-jail-free card with these police officers?
You remember that Vlad specifically asked that Timmy return to him when the job was done. The crime lord will be unhappy with this muck-up. Do you have any last-ditch ideas to save Timmy?
No, we are going to drive off into the countryside instead.
I have no words.